Welcome back, and we're ready to start reassembly of the movement itself. And interestingly enough, I did not share this in any of the previous videos. I did not look for it till after I was cleaning the movement. But here's the date stamp, and if you don't know, most Westclox movements until sometime in the 60s are stamped with the date. During some periods, it would be the month, day, and the year, and then a lot of times it would be just the month and the year. So here's a 12 for December and 41 for 1941. So rather important period in world history there that this clock was made, December of 1941. So that makes it just a little bit more special knowing when this clock was made during such a pivotal time in world history. Anyway, I'm hopeful that memory space on this camera is enough to do the assembly of the movement itself minus the time and alarm main bridges and balance wheel in one take, because there is sort of a specific order I'll do this in. So the first thing to do is we have the front plate dial side down, and we're going to load all the parts into this, and then we will install the back plate last. So we're looking at the clock from the back, so we have to keep that in mind as we put all the parts in. And I haven't done a dry run of this to see what the best order is, so we'll make it a stab at it, putting the parts that are sort of close nearest the front plate first, and we'll start with the repeat lever, and we've got to get the repeat lever under the spring like that, and then into its pivot hole like this, and that's going to go like this when the movement's together. And it looks like where this little follower is staked on the back side has just enough prominence to it that it hangs up on the opening there on the movement plate. Next we'll install the alarm hammer and verge. And these are sort of not intuitive how they go together, but it goes together like this. Has to go together with these two joints at more or less right angles, or else it would jam up possibly if they weren't closer to a right angle when they're placed into the movement. So it's going to go to where it's assembled like that. The verge pivot is there. And the alarm hammer pivot is there. And as you can see, the repeat lever flew out of position, but the spring is still in the right spot. So I think at this point it might be a good idea to install the time third wheel to help hold that into position. I'm going to make sure that we've got things in the right order here. Okay. Make sure the pivot is in its right spot there. Make sure this pivot is in its right spot there. Let's go ahead and install the on-off staff. Remember, we're looking, the back is up, so here's the threaded end where the staff button goes. Okay. This is the alarm escape wheel, and if you'll notice, I've noticed this several times on Westclox clocks, that sometimes these cast assemblies, some of the pieces will be broken, like this one here is obviously broken. I've also noticed that it doesn't seem to affect the performance that much. On many of the clocks I've worked on where the escape wheel has been damaged like this, where this is loose, it seems to work just fine. The pivot wire running through there seems to be plenty stiff enough. The rest of the assembly seems to be plenty stiff enough that it doesn't seem to affect the operation. And of course, if it bothers you, I suggest having a parts movement where you can mix and match pieces out of it. But that's going to go like that. Moving along is the alarm second wheel, and as you can see, this projecting lug on the repeat lever is designed to rest against the alarm second wheel. Oops, that's not the alarm second wheel. That's the alarm second wheel. This is the time fourth wheel. See, they have a somewhat similar appearance, but notice the much more massive pivots on that arbor. It fits the pivots much better, too. We'll go ahead and at this time fit the time fourth wheel. Okay. The escape wheel. Okay, and then the escapement lever. The straight line escapement of a Westclox Big Bend movement is a true club tooth lever escapement, just like what would be used in a pocket watch, a high-grade jeweled pocket watch. If I zoom in here, you can see the teeth of the escape wheel are club teeth. These two fingers here are banking fingers. Just like on a pocket watch, has banking pins that limit the travel of the lever as it moves back and forth. The escapement on a Big Bend such as this has these banking fingers here that hit on this large shoulder on the escape wheel, and that limits the depth of locking of the pallets where they lock on to a tooth of the escape wheel. And it's not uncommon on some Big Ben alarm clocks on the escape wheel to see little marks there from where the lever, the banking of the lever touches on the escape wheel. On this end we have the impulse slot. Let me use a small screwdriver to do my pointing here. We have the impulse slot, and then we have the safety horns. And if you look at the balance staff on a Big Ben clock, you'll notice that there will be the impulse pin, and then there'll be a slot cut in the balance staff. Well, that slot is to clear these projections here. These are the safety projections on the end of the slot. And then as the balance wheel continues to rotate, when the slot rotates away, the balance wheel rides on these two cutouts right here. And this prevents, as the assembly is rotating, as long as that slot that's cut in the balance wheel is not present in line with this, these safety horns prevent the lever from moving to the central position when the impulse pin is not present if the clock is bumped. So this is a very important feature to know about. Okay, and as you can see, it actually doesn't bank on that collar. It actually banks up here. But that is what happens. Is that does. It's not like on a pin pallet escapement where the pallet bottoms out on the escape wheel tooth. These do not. This works just like in a pocket watch, in a jeweled escapement. Okay, let's zoom out. Now for the center wheel. This would normally be called the second wheel, but in this type of movement, because it's in the middle where the minute hand attaches directly, it's called the center. As you can see, there's the end where the minute hand attaches, and this end is a double D shaped, has two flats on it. That's where the setting knob attaches, and it's going to go down in there like this, and you can see it went right down in there like that. So there's all of the components loaded into the back plate of the movement. And here's the back plate, and we've got to guide it first over the alarm trip staff, the alarm on-off staff, and then the center wheel, and then push it on down. And then basically, just like on any other clock, starting with the pivots, which are longer, guide all the pivots into their positions on the movement. Okay. It's just like working on a larger movement. You want to start with the longest pivots, which are usually also the thickest. And once you get a couple started, get a couple pillar nuts started, maintain tension. Do not maintain too much tension. You do not want to bend or break anything. At this point, I'm going to use something like a pair of tweezers to reach in there and move things around. It can sometimes be a little on the deceptive side. That some of the larger pivots aren't always necessarily the longest ones on a Westclox. Pretty close to it. Just got a couple wheels and the time train and the lever left to get into position. In fact, we're hanging up just on the lever and the escape wheel now. Okay, I think that's just about everything. I think I need to go back to the alarm side and take a look at something, because it doesn't seem to be wanting to go. Okay, I see where it's not going together over here. Okay, that's everything together now. Go ahead and snug these pillar nuts up. When everything's snug enough, we can pick the movement up, take a look at it, see what's going on. Okay. See there? Just a little bit of motion, a little bit of pressure on the center wheel causes the escape wheel to rotate. Okay, I'm going to cut the video off at this point, and in the next part we will install the balance wheel. So thank you for watching.